Cubs Nation, and welcome back to another edition of Cubs Daily. Happy Labor Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are enjoying the day off. We're going to have some day baseball today. We're going to discuss the results of yesterday's game. The Cubs also made some additions to the roster, so we're going to get into all of that good stuff right here on today's edition of Cubs Daily. But before we do that, just want to give everyone a big time thank you and shout out for continuing to show support on the channel. Keep sharing your thoughts, hitting that like button if you're truly enjoying the content. It's a free way to support. We appreciate every single one of you. So let's get to the roster update first, correct? So we did have some news drop yesterday. This is waiver season, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I wasn't quite sure who was all going to be waiver candidates, but we started to see them come. We talked about Andrew Heaney. Carlos Santana was waived by the Guardians. And, of course, the White Sox waived Aaron Civale. But the Cubs did get both those guys that we talked about, right? Carlos Santana and Aaron Civale. The plan for Civale is for him to pitch in the bullpen, add some, long game relief if needed, if a game's blown out either way. You know what I'm saying? Kind of maybe replace the Ben Brown portion when that does occur. And then Carlos Santana, I'm not sure if he's here to replace Justin Turner or what he's, but Carlos Santana is a switch hitting power hitter. Now again, he is a little he's over the hill. There's no wrong about that. He was struggling in the Guardians, but again, they're just a mid-level team. Maybe a playoff push excites him. Carlos Santana is a really, really good baseball player, or at least his career is, right? Obviously, he's not the same player he once was, but I do think he can provide a spark to this team. And honestly, I think it's a better option to throw out at first base or DH than Justin Turner. So I think Justin Turner's going to stay on the squad because, they already paid him all the money, essentially. He's a good vibes guy. He's going to be on the team. But Carlos Santana will be, I'm not sure if he's going to be active for today's game, but he's going to be on the roster as they do expand. So Aaron Civale added to the pitching staff. Carlos Santana added to the, the infield depth and the lineup depth, and I like both moves. And honestly, I'm glad we didn't trade early for Civale either. I don't think he would have cost all too much since he was a rental for the White Sox. But either way, we waited, we did our time. We're not gonna have to give up basically anything for either of these guys. So I think they're both really good, additions to this club, good veteran presences, and hopefully can help us down this playoff stretch. Now, another move was made as well. The Cubs did option Owen Casey to AAA, and they're coming up the Jaguar. Kevin Alcantara, he's been ranked 4th in our system according to certain sites and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see the Jaguar hopefully get a chance. I'm not sure if he's going to or not, but he's going to get a taste of the big league experience here this week. Cubs are at home all week. It's a good chance to get him acclimated to the situation, because the Cubs do need to see if this kid can play or not, or Owen Casey, which one, who's going to be the contributor, or do they try to package them off if they're able to somehow extend Kyle Tucker? These are the questions. So let's get to the game. Yes, the Cubs dropped the finale. I was already to chalk it up as a loss. Ian Happ with a big time shot to give us the tie, give us a chance. We had to score in the top half of the ninth, I think, to win that game. Unfortunately, Danny Palencia, we're going to get to him in a moment. He let it go down. He lost the game for this team, but, I think the team lost it for itself. We did have a great big swing in the bat. Glad to see Ian Happ hitting the ball hard. Had a consecutive couple games with a couple hits. Really, really good job by him. Kyle Tucker, he's starting to square the ball up a little bit better as well. So these are positive signs going forward. We just have to execute here against the Braves and the Nationals this week at home. So nothing happened. Nothing changed with the Milwaukee Brewers since basically last week, right? They visited Toronto. I think they gained a game on that. They weren't able to gain much on us with the Arizona series, and nothing changed over these past 3 days. So entering into September 6.5 back, can we win the division? It's possible, but things really have to start bouncing our way, and we need to start playing more consistent baseball, right? And I think a big problem that's going to be here for this team is right here, Danny Palencia. Not that I don't think he has the ingredients to be a successful closing pitcher. He's got a devastating fastball, and he's got good movement on his off-speed stuff, but he doesn't know his recipe for success yet in this, how to sequence his pitches, right? How to pitch certain guys. Again, it's a long stretch here for me, maybe, to go to this reference, but, there was an episode of Hell's Kitchen, and there was a 20-year-old on the show, and, it wasn't that she was a bad chef or anything. She just didn't have the life experience, right? Daniel Palencia needs to go through these trials and tribulations as a closer. Not everyone can be Mariano Rivera or Trevor Hoffman and just be a super success story right away. A lot of closers take time, it takes training. You gotta take your lumps, you're gonna take your L's. And Danny Palencia is going through that right now. And I honestly, in October, I could see it costing us a game. I really, really could. And I don't want to say that as well. But is it too much of a problem? This is, again, I thought if the Cubs were going to be ultra aggressive, they weren't. This is where you need to go get a Joan Duran, right? Joan Duran would be a baller closer with Danny Palencia going in the 8th. I think that would really, really be good for this team. But we didn't want to fork it over. So, I'm okay if Palencia is the plan. But we, as fans, need to be prepared to take the pain as it goes, right? Because it's going to happen. He doesn't have enough movement on his fastball. It's kind of a straight shot. These are professional hitters he's dealing with. They can hit that pitch. If they have an inkling of where it's going, they can hit that pitch. And they were squaring it up today. So, again, he's going to have to go through some growing pains. And, unfortunately, October's the most painful growing experience of them all, right? Like, Cubs could be up 5-3 going to the 9th, and we lose that game 6-5 or 7-5. Like, it's all possible with how he's been pitching here recently. And just to make things worse, I don't like that we lost to the worst team maybe historically ever in baseball. Not good. Not a good feeling going into Monday here. So we do have another series though. Another chance, another crack at it tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing about baseball, right, ladies and gentlemen? There's always tomorrow. Sometimes there's a day off, don't get me wrong. But generally speaking, we get to get the bats going again. So the probables for this series against Atlanta, we are at home. First game tomorrow at 3:05. A lot of day baseball tomorrow, so get those grills ready. Get the TV, get the drinks flowing. It's going to be a good time. Cubs play at 3:05 at Wrigley. Looks like we're going to be facing Spencer Strider. This is the thing with this Braves team, though, that we really, really need to start thinking about, okay? Yes, they're not having a strong season. They're not. It doesn't, they're not going to make the playoffs. It's definitely a failure in Atlanta Braves terms, no doubt about it. But they're still the Atlanta Braves, and for 3 games, they have stud players, okay? Matt Olson, stud. Austin Riley, stud. Ronald Acuna Jr., stud. Sean Murphy's a good catcher. Like, they have really, really good players. Marcell Ozuna, good hitter. Like, and Spencer Strider, Cy Young candidate generally on a year-to-year basis, okay? He's coming off an injury, but Spencer Strider is a really, really good pitcher, too. They're a good team underneath whatever that record is, you know what I'm saying? So, they've just been hurt with injuries and all that stuff. So, again, that's the thing with the Atlanta Braves you have to be worried about is they could come in here and sweep us. Or they could take 2 of 3. And the Cubs need to win this series, okay? They need to win this series, at least take 2 of 3. We have Colin Ray going today. We're going to have Shota Imanaga going on Tuesday. And then we're going to have, I believe, Cade Horton going on Wednesday. So, hopefully, we can get some W's here tomorrow. I'm very nervous again, kind of like Matt Boyd. The Colin Ray magic is gonna run out here. I don't know when, but there's cracks showing and the leaks are starting to burst through. So hopefully we can take 2 of 3. That's my goal for this. Another series win is always fantastic. And yeah, we're getting closer and closer to October, and it's gonna be a great time. Going into this year, I just wanted to make the playoffs. That was my ultimate goal as a Cub fan. Like, let's make the playoffs. Then, obviously, we had that sensational April. I'm like, okay, I think we could do more. I want to see where we land here, where we finish, and then we can address what we need in the offseason. Now, again, I'm not spending the bucks. I'm not making the deals, but that doesn't mean we can't have some fun discussion here on Cubs Daily. So, if you guys enjoy that kind of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it's going to be juicy, okay? It's going to be juicy. I am actually going to be giving you guys a playoff preview, not a playoff, a off-season preview this Friday's episode. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that one as well. So that's going to do it for today's edition of Cubs Daily. I hope you all have a fantastic Labor Day. Go Cubs.